Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford as usual, and the rain may be coming down, but you know what? The sun's shining really, innit? Because Manchester is red. Much of the talk, as you'd expect, centres around yesterday's epic victory over Manchester City at the Etihad. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was speaking after the game, so I'll give you a little bit of an update on that and what he was saying, and then we'll get into some transfer news as well. Ole was speaking about the title challenge, if you can call it that. He says, we just take one game at a time. City are too far ahead of us, so I think we can catch them. Last year we caught 15 points up on Leicester, but City are a different proposition. He also went on to say we have to be positive. We're a positive team. We want to play at a high tempo, but we have to defend well. You have to defend to attack. That spaces that appear. There has to be a collective. No team in the world has a chance against them against City without being a collective, hungry team who knows how to defend well and also be positive on the ball. He also praised, part of that was praising Anthony Martial. He said that was the Anthony Martial of old after yesterday's man of the match performance by Tony M. He said, up until 2 hours before the warm-up even, I wasn't sure if he'd play. Today he rediscovered himself. He was really strong on the ball and very positive. It's great to see that from Andy Martial. He's coming for a lot of criticism this season, and some of it's been warranted because, let's face facts, 4 Premier League goals for a player of his standard isn't good enough, but some of it's been a little OTT, and as I've said, I wasn't ready to throw him under the bus just yet, and he showed yesterday what he's capable of. Just a shame he didn't get his goal, but we're not going to grumble too much because he played a massive part in that win, and hopefully United now can kick on and go on a bit of a run, or a better run. I know we've been on a bit of a run, but start turning some of these draws into wins, and make sure we get that top 4 place. I'm not going to say there's a title challenge because I'm with Ollie on that one. Even Roy Keane was happy with the performance. He said yesterday, he'd say it was a perfect performance. They had a great start, obviously, meaning Manchester United with that early penalty. People have been criticising them recently, but they've been doing okay. Obviously for Manchester United you always expect more, but today you knew the counter-attack would have suited them down to the ground, and obviously they had a dream start after a minute going a goal up. So if Roy Keane's happy, something's going right. He also went on to say after that City would have had to come at them a bit more, and Ole wouldn't have even dreamed of this in the morning, to get a penalty after 30 odd seconds, particularly when City are in control. So Keano's happy with that performance, and I think he's every right to be. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got his tactics spot on. You don't need me to go on to the post-match analysis and all that. If you want to check that out, you've got Adam McCullough, you've got Stephen Howson, you've got all the post-match reaction from them guys. Also, I did a live review straight after the game. If you want to revisit that, feel free to elsewhere on the channel. Should we get into some transfer news? We've not had a transfer story about Erling Haaland for about 8 minutes. This just does my head in, this one. Apparently, shock horror, Bayern Munich refused to rule out a move for Erling Haaland. Now, this is what does my head about German football. And I know German football's at a good standard. I know Bayern Munich won the Champions League last season. They've won it quite a few times, and they have these wonderful runs. I think he's 9 league titles or something silly on the spin. But this is one of the reasons why, because whenever there's a decent player in Germany who doesn't play for Bayern Munich usually go and get him. And it could be the case now with Erling Haaland at Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund played Bayern Munich at the weekend. I think they Munich won 4-2, but Bayern Munich manager Hansi Flick admits he cannot rule anything out concerning the prospect of the club signing Borussia Dortmund striker Erling Haaland. This is in Sky Sports, by the way. It goes on to say, Haaland's one of the top strikers in Europe, scoring 45 goals in 46 games, and his latest strikes were 18th and 19th Bundesliga goals in the season, as Dortmund raced to 2-0 lead away at Bayern Munich before eventually losing 4-2 in the Klassiker. Flick went on to say, a lot is possible in life and you can't rule anything out, but it's future music and he has a long-term contract in Dortmund. He does, but he also has a buyout clause that's coming up. This is why Manchester United have been linked with him again, because the feeling is that buyout clause, I think it's for 72 million quid, or it might be 72 million euros, forgive me, and if Dortmund want to get more than that, they'll have to sell him this summer, so we'll have to wait and see there. I mean, 76 million euros I've just seen here is the buyout clause in the summer of 2022. So Dortmund may sell him this summer and get 100, 120, 130 million, who knows. And he's being touted as a replacement for Bayern Munich's Robert Lewandowski, who's 32. I mean, that's just the way it seems to go in Germany, doesn't it? Bayern Munich have done this before with Dortmund. They've picked up their best players, got players from other, the likes of Robert Lewandowski, just mentioning him. That's what they do. They go out there and they get the best players that are around in the German league, and it's just almost a monopoly. It seems like a million years ago since there was anyone challenging Bayern Munich. I think it was Jurgen Klopp's Dortmund, wasn't it, in about 2011 or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see with that one, but it is a little bit worrying. The hope there, from a United point of view, is that maybe Erling Haaland will want to move from Germany, or want a new challenger, want to move to a different country, and also maybe Dortmund, if they can get money elsewhere, will try and sell him to a club other than Bayern Munich, because if they sold Erling Haaland to Bayern Munich, then that's more or less them giving up in it. I know they've done it in the past, like I said, but yeah, I mean, that's, what is it? Housen said, might as well be Celtic, might as well be Bayern Munich. What else have we got for you? Oh, yeah, there's a bit of an injury update with Jadon Sancho. Didn't even heard of Jadon Sancho. Apparently, United have been linked with him. It's new one to me. But he had an injury in a recent cup game for Dortmund. So he's going to be out for, it looks like a month. Don't think that's going to make any great impacts on whether he comes to Manchester United in the summer or not. There's still talk United going back in for him. Obviously, we didn't get him last summer, as I'm sure you're all aware of what went on there. I don't need to regurgitate that. We've all heard enough about it. But he's also going to miss some England games. Yeah, what did he do? England have got 3 games coming up against San Marino, Albania and Poland. Well, there's 3 mouth-watering clashes that sound like they're going to be absolutely riveting. I don't know about you, but I'll be recording them ones, not to watch them over and over again. For those 3 games, though, I hope that Marcus Rashford isn't picked. I hope he doesn't play, because he picks up an ankle injury, and we're waiting to see what's happening with that. Solskjaer said about that, it's something with his ankle, I think. I'm not a doctor, very honest, but hopefully it's not too bad. We'll have a scan in the morning. So, when we hear that today, I mean, it may well have already come out by the time watching this video, we'll give you an update on the socials and let you know what's going on with Marcus Rashford's ankle. But in terms of the England games coming up in March, I hope Marcus Rashford doesn't play in them. He needs a break. He needs a rest. He's played so much football this season. I think he's played 43 games now for Manchester United. I think he's played about 3 for England or something. It's, 45 games, whatever, at this stage of the season. That's ridiculous. Most players play that in an entire season. And you can see, he got a knock on his ankle. He's been carrying a shoulder injury that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that came out on Friday. I think it came out that he's been playing with a shoulder injury. He needs an operation on it that apparently is going to be postponed till after the Euros. So, it is a little worrying. And Solskjaer was talking about Rashford, and he says when he sprinted 70 yards to save a goal, it showed the attitude of the boy. I mean, he does. He always gives his all, Marcus Rashford. I know, again, some people give him stick, and I just don't get it, because I just think the guy's, a mad United fan. I know that's not enough to make you like a player, but scores lots of goals, got lots of assists, another assist yesterday, gives his all, and puts his body on the line. I mean, what more do you want? And he feeds starving kids. Jesus wept. You know what I mean? Come on. Here's another one that might just be paper talk by the very definition of it. Apparently, Liverpool are set to go head-to-head with us for Jack Grealish. Liverpool are having a really great run of form, aren't they? Is it 6 straight home defeats? That's a shame, isn't it? Yeah, but apparently they're interested in Jack Grealish, and so are we. So we could end up going head-to-head with them in the summer for the Aston Villa midfielders' signature. We'll wait and see what happens with that one. I think this is just a case of we've got a list, he's on it. They've got a list, he's on it. I don't know if there's going to be like a bidding war between Manchester United and Liverpool for Jack Grealish. I don't know if he's even going to leave Aston Villa. I would love to see Jack Grealish here at Manchester United, but I'd file that under doubtful, because I think the price he's going to cost is going to be in excess of about 80, 90 million, maybe even a little bit more. Will Villa sell him? Will United be able to afford him? Is he United's priority signing? I'm not so sure. He was asked, actually, Jack Grealish, in a recent interview about coming to United and why he didn't come to United, or why he's not signed for us and all that. And he just simply said, you've got Bruno anyway, which is great. But I'd love to see them both playing together. I know people say, well, can they play together? Players of that quality can always play together. Don't you worry about that. And there's another story as well that was doing the rounds. I think this is from Sunday, actually, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is pushing the Glazers into making 3 signings. Ole wants 3 major signings in the summer, and he's been pressurising the Glazers to make that happen. Apparently we're in for, or we want, a midfielder, a defender and an attacker. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sort of in conversations or having talks, a couple of papers have picked up on this, with him telling the Glazers that's what he wants. Whether that happens, I don't know. There's already been these noises, aren't there, because of the pandemic as well. We're not going to go big in the transfer window. It may only be 1 major signing. We'll have to wait and see. I've got no faith in the owners here at this club. They're absolutely, my thoughts on them. If you don't know, I think they're parasites and they're just milking us dry. But we'll have to see. we'll have to see what happens. If we are going to challenge at this very top, Ollie has already shown that he can get results, what he can do, that he can make this club progress, but he needs backing. You know, we bought Edinson Cavani in the summer, you know, decent, but he's a 34-year-old, and obviously he's had a couple of injury setbacks as well. Alex Telles was just back up to Luke Shaw, and then the major signing was Donny van der Beek, and okay, it's 35-40 million, it's not pennies, but that isn't enough to make you catch, you know, the likes of City and Liverpool, even though surprisingly we've caught Liverpool and overtaken them because they capitulated, but finished 33 points behind them last season, and you thought it'd take a little bit more than that to get us challenging for the title, and I think with a bit more backing in the transfer window, we could have had a proper title challenge this season rather than one that was more of a flirtation. And just one final story doing the rounds this morning was about, if I can find it, it was a Raphinha from Leeds United, and apparently Manchester United are in for the 24-year-old Brazilian winger from Leeds United. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why would Leeds United, one of our historical enemies and rivals, sell us one of their best players? But, you know, 3 words, Eric Cantona. There you go. That happened, didn't it? Rio Ferdinand, Alan Smith. It can be done. They're just a small club in Yorkshire, and if we want one of their best players, we could probably get him. 5 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League, doing bits. Decent player, can play on that right wing, which has been a problem for Manchester United, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. I don't see him being a priority, but you never know. It could happen, and also there's talk of this new sponsorship deal, shirts deal, which could net the club 70 million quid a season extra, or bring in 70 million quid a season to replace Chevrolet. So maybe there could be some funds in the transfer kitty for the likes of Raphinha, or Jadon Sancho, or Erling Haaland, or Jack Grealish. Who knows? But whenever it does happen, we'll keep you posted, as always. Make sure you're watching for later on, because you're going to have the Premier League P-Take with Adam McCullough and Joe Smith. We're also going to have the Paddock podcast with myself, Joe, and Stephen Howson. And we'll have the Academy reviews coming up. We'll be looking towards the Milan game as well, and we'll have any updates, including that injury update, on Marcus Rashford. So if you're not subscribing, please make sure you do. It begins to perk up a little bit. Now the weather's turning a little bit nicer, as we often remember that Manchester, get my words out, is red. My voice is going, I've still been shouting that much from yesterday. Thanks for watching.